Groovy.
その日、セガエンタープライゼス専務湯川秀和は驚くべき街の声を耳にした。
セガなんてダッセよな。
プレステの方が面白いよな。
そうなのか。なんてこった。
止めてくれ。一人になりたいんだ。
セガなんてダッセよな。
ちょうるせえ。ごめんなさいよ。
おかえりなさ。どうなさったの？
立つんだ、湯川専務。
Hey everybody, welcome back. Jim here with some more import game recommendations, and today we're going to be taking a look at these fine games for the Sega Dreamcast, which is one of my all-time favorite consoles, and today's games are Puyo Puyo, Toukon Retsuden 4, Macross M3, Super Puzzle Fighter 2X for matching service, and Radirgy. And with that out of the way, let's take a look at these games. First up, we have Puyo Puyo, or if you prefer, Puyo Puyo 4, which was developed by Compile and published by Sega in 1999, and it also has releases on the N64, PlayStation, and Game Boy Color, but for my money, Sega games are always more satisfying on Sega hardware. If you've played a Puyo Puyo game before, then you know what you're getting into here. It's a puzzle game where you match little slime creatures of the same color to clear them from the board. The better you do, the more hell you make for your opponent. But new to the series are special attacks that are unique to each character. As you clear away Puyos, energy is accumulated that is represented by images of your character floating above their head, and with enough of them you can unleash all sorts of devastation onto the other half of the screen. So it's Puyo Puyo with elements of Puzzle Fighter and Tetris Battle Gaiden. It's a lot of fun and especially great for some multiplayer action. Even if you don't have anyone to play with, there are plenty of single-player modes included to keep you occupied. Plus, as is typical of the series, this is a very colorful game with bright visuals and cute character designs and music that is upbeat and catchy, which matches the visual style very well. So all things considered, if you like the Puyo Puyo series, then they don't get much better than this one, and it's also usually not so expensive either. Copies can be found online for $15 on the low end and $30 on the high end. So if your Dreamcast collection is light on puzzlers, you can't go wrong with some good old Puyo Puyo. Next up, we have New Japan Pro Wrestling Toukon Retsuden 4, which was released in 1999, published by Tomy and developed by Yuke's, which is a developer that still works on the WWE series of games to this day. So it's safe to say they know their wrestling. In this game, you can choose from a ton of Japanese pro wrestlers who each have huge movesets, or you can create your own wrestler and give them whatever moveset you like and take them through a ton of gameplay modes such as career and exhibition, with match types such as singles, tag, tournament, league, and battle royal. So as far as gameplay options go, TK4 has everything you need, and the gameplay itself, while admittedly not perfect, is pretty damn good for the time it was made, right up there with the best late 90s wrestling games from WWF and WCW for sure. So if you have a love for some of the better known wrestling titles for the N64 and PS1, then you should like this one as well. Plus the graphics, while obviously a product of the late 90s, aren't bad. All of the wrestlers look like their real life counterparts, and there are a whole bunch of different rings and arenas to wrestle in. The sound design is also pretty good. Plenty of exciting music to wrestle to, some impactful sound effects, and plenty of crowd noise. So this is definitely a game I can recommend if you're a wrestling fan, and it's also a very affordable title, going for $10 to $20 on average. So if it looks good to you, then get yourself a copy of Toukon Retsuden, for it is awesome. Next, we have Macross M3, which is a 2001 release developed by Big West and published by Shueisha, and this is a similar game to the PS2 Macross game that I featured before. Though it's admittedly not as good as that game, it's still a decent action title, and it's got plenty to love if you're a Macross fan. Just like the PS2 game, M3 consists of both air battles and some ground-based missions, but the air combat is definitely the better aspect. Essentially, you just fly around dodging missiles and blowing up enemies, which is really all you need from a game like this. One thing that's kind of cool is that you have a limited supply of action points that you can use to launch barrages of missiles or fire your guns wildly in all directions, and these attacks are executed by putting in specific button combinations. Another cool feature is just the sheer number of ships you have available to you. You start with only the classic VF-1J Valkyrie, but as you progress through the story mode, you unlock a lot more, so the gameplay is decent and the Macross fan service is on point. Plus, it's a fairly good looking game for a 2001 Dreamcast release. The animated cutscenes look especially good, and the sound design is good too, with a mostly high intensity soundtrack, explosive sound effects, and tons of voice acting. If you're a Macross fan, I'm sure you'll want a copy of this game, and it can typically be found used for between 20 and 40 bucks, depending on if you get the standard copy or the special edition. So if you like your flying mechs and space battles, check this one out. Next up, we have Super Puzzle Fighter 2 X for Matching Service, which is the 2001 port of the 1996 arcade original, which was developed and published by Capcom. This game, of course, had ports to various other platforms, but the Dreamcast version remained exclusive to Japan, where players could enjoy online matches at the time. This version of Puzzle Fighter includes various gameplay modes that emulate various other puzzle games, like Puyo Puyo 2 and Tetris Attack, and they're all very fun. You get a wide variety of characters to choose from that are all taken from the Street Fighter and Darkstalker series, and they all have unique attack patterns when littering their opponent's side of the screen with extra gems. The basic premise of the gameplay is simple enough: just match up gems of the same color and clear them from the board. So it's nothing terribly inspired, but it'll definitely scratch your puzzle game itch, and the visuals and sound design complement the fun gameplay very well. This is a very colorful game that features super deformed versions of some of my favorite characters from Capcom fighters, and the soundtrack is very upbeat and cheerful to match with the visuals. So all around, this is a great game. It's fun and addictive with plenty of Capcom fan service. Unfortunately, I just realized this particular version of Puzzle Fighter is very expensive these days, usually at least $100. So this one is more for the hardcore Dreamcast collector, but whatever way you can, definitely play some Puzzle Fighter. It's awesome. Finally, we have Radirgy, which was developed and published by Milestone and released in 2005, well after the console itself was discontinued, and it's a great example of the kind of awesome shoot-'em-ups that are still being released for the Dreamcast to this day. In Radirgy, you have 3 different ships to choose from that each has a different primary weapon that has its pros and cons. You can also utilize a sword attack both against enemies and to clear bullets from the screen, and if you stop firing for a couple of seconds, a shield will automatically come up to block incoming bullets and remain up until you begin firing again, which is especially useful in some of the game's more bullet hell style segments. You also have what the game calls the ABS-Net shield, which acts as kind of a super bomb. It clears all bullets from the screen and deals major damage to any enemies in the vicinity, and the more enemies you destroy, the faster you refill your ABS-Net energy meter. Overall, this is a fun and challenging shooter with great controls and addictive gameplay, though it's a little on the short side with only 5 stages. Radirgy also features some excellent graphics. The cel-shaded visuals look great and help this game stand out from the crowd. It's a lot more colorful and cartoonish than your average shooter. The soundtrack is also pretty cool. It's mostly very laid back and groovy electronic music, which matches the tone and visual style of the game. So all around, just an outstanding shooter. I highly recommend playing it. It is pretty expensive these days, though. It's yet another game that runs about $100, so if you're a Dreamcast collector and you love a good shooter, Radirgy is one to keep in mind. So there you go, 5 more great import games for the Sega Dreamcast. I hope you saw something you liked, and do please let me know down in the comments what some of your favorite import Dreamcast games are, or what are some on your wish list. I'd really like to know. That really helps me when deciding what games to feature in these videos. And until next time, thanks for watching everybody, take care, goodbye.